Javier Becerra, Attorney General for the state of California. In fact, 1 year now in office. Today, the 24th, marks my 1 year anniversary as the Attorney General for this great state. And this week I'll celebrate not just that, but also my 60th birthday coming up. So interesting week for me today. I took office a year ago, as I said today. January 24th, 2017 was the day that I was confirmed and sworn in by the governor. I said it would be my job to protect our gains and our achievements in California, to keep us leaning forward. We have more jobs. We have more college graduates, more innovators and budding entrepreneurs, more cutting-edge technology than any other state in the nation. And we are now the sixth largest economy in the world. That, I believe, is worth fighting for. So that's what we've done at the California Department of Justice. We've taken on human traffickers. Within the last 2 weeks, we announced we were able to get guilty pleas from traffickers who were taking young women, girls actually, from Central Valley, parts of the state, Tulare County, Bakersfield, Fresno County, and shipping them to all parts of the state, LA, San Francisco, San Diego, Sacramento, to sell them. We're taking on Backpage.com right now in court on charges dealing with money laundering, conspiracy, because, again, we believe that they are one of the largest purveyors of human trafficking and sex trafficking in the world. We've taken on big oil. We were able to stop Valero, one of the largest oil companies in the nation, from purchasing an independent distributor of oil, which, had the transaction gone through, would have allowed big oil to essentially control the spigot on the distribution of gasoline to the gas stations throughout the state of California, which could have meant they could have dialed in up or down the volume and availability of gasoline, which could have spiked gasoline prices for everyone at the pump. We've taken on British Petroleum. We recently secured the largest settlement against BP, $102 million, in a whistleblower case involving an energy company in the history of the state of California. We've taken down gangs on 5 separate occasions throughout the state of California: Merced County, San Bernardino County, Stockton, Bakersfield, and a very large enterprise in LA, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Orange counties. We took down an effort by a bank to get away with defrauding the people and the state of California, when we were able to secure a $125 million settlement against Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS, for its role in creating and selling toxic mortgage-backed securities to California pension funds. We've completed more than 46,000 requests for forensic evidence analysis. We've analyzed more than 1,300 rape kits. We've taken on retailers like Fashion Q that cheat on their taxes, and janitorial companies like OneSource that steal wages from their workers. And we've taken on the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. Many of you are aware of the numerous times we had to go to court, 25 times to date, against the Trump administration. We've challenged, on the environmental front, their illegal delays of critical anti-pollution protections, and we've won on those particular 6 cases involving greenhouse gas performance measures, methane rule, clean energy standards, auto fuel efficiency standards, energy efficiency standards, and ozone attainment standards. 6 victories in those 6 cases. We successfully led the effort to intervene in the Affordable Care Act case to defend the cost-sharing subsidies in the Affordable Care Act. That case is pending. We intervened in a lawsuit to protect a transgender person's right to serve in our military, and there is now an injunction against the Trump administration's efforts to try to discriminate against them. We led the fight when it came to Dreamers to protect DACA, and today there's an injunction halting the Trump administration's efforts to terminate the DACA program. We took on for-profit colleges. Ashford University was the latest. Corinthian College, as some of you will remember, is still ongoing, that have defrauded students throughout the state of California and throughout the country. We stood up to defend a woman's right to birth control under the Affordable Care Act, and we secured an injunction to make sure that the Trump administration's efforts to deny women that birth control did not move forward. And that brings me to my latest announcement today on my one-year anniversary as California's Attorney General. Last month, the Trump administration's Bureau of Land Management quietly repealed a critical environmental protection called the fracking rule. This is a rule that was designed to protect public health and mitigate environmental risks associated with hydraulic fracturing, or what we call fracking. Fracking is a process used to extract oil and gas from rock formations. It involves the high-pressure injection of water and chemicals to break up rock formations underground. The risks of fracking to our health and to our environment are real. They're known. From the evaporation of toxic chemicals to low-level seismic events to the contamination of our drinking water. That's why in 2015, the Bureau of Land Management implemented thorough and science-based regulations for fracking. BLM found back in 2015 that the cost of compliance with this new rule was merely a fraction of a percent of the cost of drilling a well. But President Trump and Interior Secretary Zinke didn't let the law or the facts get in their way in their zeal to repeal this common sense measure. That's why the state of California today is filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration against their reckless repeal of the 2015 fracking rule. In our suit, we argue that this repeal is arbitrary and capricious, in violation of the Administrative Procedure Act, that this repeal lacks legal justification. Remember that back in 2015, BLM said that they needed the fracking rule to fulfill statutory mandates and trust responsibilities that the federal government has to Native American tribes. But now, this administration is saying they're moving to repeal the rule without any mention of those previous justifications and why they no longer apply. This repeal also fails to consider the significant impacts associated with fracking in violation of the National Environmental Policy Act. We seek an order invalidating BLM's unlawful repeal, which would in turn reinstate the fracking rule. We take this action to protect the 40 million people of our great state of California against federal overreach and to insist that the rule of law be followed by everyone, including the occupant in the White House. This also explains why we have had to go to court the previous 25 times against the federal government. So as I said, when I took office, I made it very clear that it was my job to protect our state's gains and to continue leaning forward for the 40 million people of our state. That's what we must do to continue to be the sixth largest economy in the world. That is what we must do to give every next family a chance to send their kids to college and to prosper. And that's what we will try to do every chance we get to defend the 40 million people of the state of California here at the Department of Justice. Unless there's any other questions, I think we'll conclude. And I want to thank you again for helping me celebrate my one-year anniversary as the Attorney General for our great state of California. Thanks all very much.